Hey guys, AC here. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about the king of colognes, as they all say it. Aventus, guys, everybody knows about Aventus. There are thousands of videos on Aventus. I wanted to add my own, and I've got a big surprise for you in this comparison video. So, launched in 2010, this was supposed to be inspired by the all-conquering Alexander, who's basically a hero of Oliver Creed. One of the most successful fragrances produced by the House of Creed. Obviously, the fragrance is handmade. Hence, there's a lot of talk about batch variations. I have myself witnessed it. Once, the first time I smelled Aventus was, I think, roughly around Christmas time or just after Christmas in 2010, and I smelled it in Harrods. When I smelled it, the first impression I got was this was a very manly, very strong alpha juice. I was impressed, but at the same time I was shocked at the most amazingly creative fragrance I had ever smelled. And I had experience of the Creed house. I had experience of Silver Mountain Water, of Green Irish Tweed, and I think it was Virgin Island Water that I had experience of. So I knew the Creed sort of DNA. This was very different. So you can imagine, and I was introduced to the nuances of the fragrance because I got a bottle for myself in 2011. It was a 30 ml, and I can't remember, I think I paid less than £100 retail. So since then, prices have skyrocketed. This is probably the most expensive mainstream Creed, if you like. Yeah, there are more expensive Creeds like Spice and Wood, but this is one of the most expensive ones. I think a 100 ml bottle costs you about £250. And since 2014, when the IFRA regulations came in, after the oak moss ban, the fragrance has gone through a lot of reformulations, and some of the batches that I have tried have been so-so, more like a fruity, woody scent which lacks the layers, the complexity, the density of the fragrance. Those things have gone. There have been some good batches. I don't own a full bottle, by the way, and here is a batch which I quite like. It is 1701. 17T01. This is a batch which is last year's batch, which I currently use. And I quite like this one. This is very balanced. This has got that beautiful creaminess to it, both in its opening and its dry down, which I quite enjoy. So, a brief introduction on the scent profile. As you all know, this is basically 2 or 3 layers. The first layer is that beautiful fruity layer, citrusy fruit. Some people say they get the pineapple. I get a pineapple. I also get blackcurrant. I also get hints of bergamot, hints of apple, green apple. So it makes this beautiful, most recognized fruity introduction. Beautiful, just beautiful. Words can't do justice to the beauty of the opening of Aventus. Then it meets its beautiful middle when it transitions into a slightly woody aspect comes into play. I believe they used birch tar, but normally birch tar also gives off this tarry, smoky or burning vibe. That isn't there. It used to be there in the initial batches. The first bottle I got had a very prominent smokiness to it, as you would get from an amouage, let's say Interlude Man. I'm not saying they're the same. It has this burning sensation to it, tarriness to it. And then comes the dry down, where the woody vanilla aspect comes in, mixed with ambergris, and the fruits fade into the background. I don't get any birch in the dry down. This is a good batch. I get about 8 hours. This also has this tendency to disappear and come back. So sometimes you might feel that it's gone. It hasn't. Especially if you go two sprays on your shirt, you're done. And I'm talking about the small, tiny spray. So it could be 1 spray of the original bottle. There's also one quality of Aventus, that is less is more. Aventus is one of those fragrances which gives you olfactive fatigue, and it leaves a huge scent bubble, if you like. It's got tremendous sillage. So less is more with the real king. Now, I've been fortunate enough to try quite a few clones, so I'll start with the one which smells very similar to the actual Aventus. Lavender. I quite like this fragrance, but I also dislike this fragrance. The reason I dislike this fragrance is its longevity is very poor. I get 6 hours, but off the top, when you spray it on paper, And on your shirt, this is already very light. This is about 1.5 hour spray. Already very light. It's very lemony, and it tries to actually copy the fruitier batches as they are known, post 2014 batches. Before 2014, I forgot to mention, I think the oak moss also played a role because it was more manly. These Aventis, the current ones, are a bit more, it smells like more like a designer, a beautiful designer, more than a niche. So, or less than a niche. This fragrance, in its dry down, replicates the current batches of Aventus very, very well. In fact, sometimes, and I've worn this a lot, sometimes you can't even tell the difference, especially the fruitier batches. The performance on this one, this is basically an Aventus clone which you should be bringing out when it's very sunny and bright outside. Summer days. I don't know whether you have the same experience as me. Aventus doesn't go very well in very high heat. It's basically a mild weather fragrance, especially when it's overcast, when it's raining, that kind of stuff. I get this 6 hours of performance. I get the entire scent profile. It's very lemony. So I think they've used lemon here along with bergamot. That's the only difference. I quite enjoy recommending this fragrance to people who basically want to wear Aventus-like fragrance to work. This is very work friendly. It doesn't have a huge enormous amounts of sillage. It has good projection, but that dry sort of comes closer to your skin after about a couple of hours. But a very, very good clone. Not my favorite, because I quite enjoy the thickness and the layers of Aventus that it used to be. Next on my list is a fragrance which actually starts off like the old vintage Aventus. It's very smoky. This is Rumz Rasasi and Zebra. There's a number. I do not have the number, I can't remember the number, but boy, this is an absolute powerhouse. This fragrance has the birch tar, but not the burnt smell in ample amount. This thing is extremely strong, guys. I sprayed on this strip of paper about 1.5 hours ago, and this smells like the middle stage of Aventus. You can see I had written something at the back. You can see the ink has floated upwards. That shows you how strong a single spray of this is. This is extremely strong, very, very strong. It starts off smelling like the old batches of Aventus. It has got more richness to it as compared to the Haramain version. I think middle stages, these fragrances come closer. Yeah, they smell like the middle stages of Aventus. So the fruitiness is there, but slightly at the back. What comes out in front is a little bit of vanilla combined with some birch tar or woodiness with a little bit of ambergris. I get the ambergris very prominent in this one in the dry down. This is my favorite in terms of longevity. This thing lasts about 10 to 14 hours. Yeah, and I go just one spray with this because it's got enormous scent cloud, enormous, very, very strong. This is a 50 ml. It's probably the same price as 100 ml of Laventure. Yeah, both are sub £30, I believe, in the UK market. In terms of performance, this thing is twice as more powerful as Laventure. Both in sillage, longevity. Man, this thing is really good. Yeah, but not my most favorite. My most favorite is coming up, and then the big surprise. This thing is my favorite. You know why? Because this is actually, there are two versions of this. This is, by the way, Club de Nuit Intense Man, if you didn't know. This particular one is made in France. There's another version made in UAE. I believe the newer batches have the same colored atomizer, if you like. So dark colored atomizer, black most probably, or even steel grey. Those ones are trying to ape the fruitier batches. This one is a 2016 bottle, I believe, or maybe 2015. This one has this birch tarry element that I found in Rumz Rasasi, but it has one quality which sets it apart from these two. This thing is smooth. There's some rough edges. I know that some people say it's very harsh opening, not on the French one. The made in France version that I'm showing you at the moment is extremely smooth. It starts off like Aventus, it ends like Aventus. Beautiful, smooth. And like Aventus, it is very versatile and it gets you tremendous amounts of compliments. Yeah, this is a major compliment magnet for me. So my personal favorite, CD and IM. Up till last week, I was hit by the absolute beauty of the next fragrance I'm going to show you. It is by Perfume Parlour, which is a UK based clone house. There are two versions of this. This is called Aventis. I'm going to leave the name in the description. The two versions, I went for the woody version because I quite like the ancient version of Aventus, if you like. And boy, did it surprise me. Man, this is the best clone I have smelled so far. This has actually overtaken CD and IM as my most favorite Aventus clone. There are many more. I haven't smelled the pineapple vintage ones. I haven't, and I'm not going to do it because it is £75. Why would I spend £75 on a clone? I might as well go and get a bottle of Aventus. I haven't smelled Dua ones. I haven't smelled the Alexandria fragrances ones. I haven't. But this Perfume Parlour one has absolutely taken me by surprise. Reason: the moment you smell it, you don't have to even apply it. You know that you got a very, very good clone of Aventus straight away, just off the nozzle. Make sure you go for the woody version. That's all I can vouch for. The moment you apply it, the first thing that hits you is, wow, how creamy this is. You know, exactly like the middle stage of Aventus, where the creaminess comes in. It's a beautiful, creamy, shimmering, glowing scent. That's the beauty of Aventus, right? And this thing surprised me. The moment you apply it, the creaminess comes out. So it actually rushes to the dry down. And then I applied about a good amount, under my shirt. There's a spray version. I went for the oil. I applied a good amount under my shirt. And I just didn't stop smelling it. So I must have applied it mid-morning today. And I've been smelling it all day. I did the same thing about 2 days ago when this arrived. So I've given it 3 wears. As you can see, used quite a bit of it. But I'm surprised by how beautiful this is. You can say this is a beautiful interpretation of the Aventus because it uses, I think, some sort of oud, because there's a slight element of skankiness when this thing dries down. Yeah, after about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, you smell this spicy skankiness, which you could get from oud, right? So I think they're using some sort of oud in the base of this fragrance. But don't get disheartened by hearing about oud. It does no changes to the actual DNA of Aventus. It's exactly the same. It's just subtle nuances of oud come into play when you smell it very close to your skin. It dries down and it has this amazing sour, sweet, shimmering, sort of a soapy undertone vibe to it, which is what you get when Aventus is dry down. And I've got it here. This dry down must be at least 12 hours. And I must have washed my hand at least 5 times during the day. And it's still there. I can still smell it. And as I said, whenever I move, I get whiffs of it from under my shirt. Tremendous sillage. Tremendous projection. This thing is an absolute bomb in terms of performance. And it smells so good. It's so close to Aventus. I'm completely stunned. And I'm very, very happy to actually let you know about this. So apart from 3 I've shown, give this one a shot because this is the cheapest. This is a 10 ml oil. I paid £11 for it, right? And this oil, as you can see, it'll last you a long, long time. It's concentrated. And if you go heavy, if you wear it every single day of the month, it'll still last you at least a month, yeah? One of the best clones of Aventus I have experienced. As I said, I have not smelled all, but this one, wow, excellent clone. So, that brings me to the end of the video. I hope you liked it. Take care.